Getting caught out by too much wind is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a kite surfer. I'll look at this issue in detail. Firstly, the very best solution is to avoid getting caught out by too much wind in the first place. Increases in wind speed are almost always predictable. They can be seen in weather forecasts, so you can avoid days when the wind is due to change too quickly. Wind changes can also be seen in the weather around you, such as long horizontal lines of cloud, mist or white horses, or tall cloud developments, or rain. So you should be able to spot imminent wind changes and land your kite before they happen. My weather video explains this in great detail, so I'll link that below. Before I delve deeper, remember that standard safety rules apply. If you're getting into trouble, perhaps because of the wind speed, and you're not in control, use your safety steps. Now I'll look at what you can do if the wind is increasing, and I'll look at 3 different levels of being overpowered. Firstly, let's say the wind seems to be building and you're starting to get overpowered. You're riding with the bar out, but you still have control and you can manage your speed with slight effort. However, you know that if the wind continues to build further, then you might be in trouble. In that case, it's a smart plan to land your kite earlier rather than later. Then you can see if the wind does keep increasing, or you can swap to a smaller kite. Let's look at the next level. The wind has increased to the point that you're getting jolted around. You can still ride under control, but it's now quite a big effort. At this point, it's still okay to ride, but it would be a bad idea for you to get back on land with your kite. I recommend that you keep your speed low and your kite low and creep along until you get into the shallows. In the shallows, you can wave for help. If no one can help, then at least from there you can eject your chicken loop and drop the kite while you're still in the water. That is much better than walking up on the beach and getting lifted into an object. However, hopefully, when you reach the shallows, your fellow kiters will be well aware and ready to help and catch your kite. Let's say the building wind increases a step further. There's enough wind now that you're getting out of control on the water. Perhaps you're getting launched or you can't slow down. As I mentioned, if you're getting out of control, use your safety steps before it's too late. In this example, the kiter uses his chicken loop eject just in time, and then the kite flags out nicely in the shallows. However, bear in mind that safety systems can fail, so be prepared with the leash eject. In strong wind, a flagged out kite can easily jump around or flip and keep pulling you. Older safety systems or 2-line safety systems can fail completely. Of course, the leash eject means potentially losing your kite, and it means potentially hurting someone downwind of you. Which is why I started this video by saying it's best to avoid getting caught out by rapid wind increases. Also note, if you've ejected the chicken loop because of strong wind, then almost certainly there will be too much wind for you to try to recover your kite or do a self-rescue, so you'll need the wind to drop or you'll need another kiter to grab your kite. Now I'll look at some general tips for handling stronger wind. If you're piloting a kite in a bit more wind than expected, it's important not to sit your kite at 12. There are 2 main problems with doing that. With the kite at a high angle, it's providing lift, and if there's a big gust, it might lift you up. You are then likely to panic, or not use your safety systems, or get spun around and not be able to find your safety systems, etc. The other major problem is that if your kite is at a high angle and a gust makes it shoot forward and then stall back, it can drop almost anywhere in the wind window from that position. This is normally dangerous, and even more so in strong wind. In stronger wind, pilot the kite at a lower angle, maybe 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. You can then put your legs in front of you and dig in your heels to resist the kite. If there is a gust, you will slide sideways instead of getting lofted. so you can keep facing the kite more easily and access your safety systems if you need to. Also, if the kite stalls from this low angle, there isn't as much room in the wind window for it to drop back. Of course, if the wind feels a bit too strong while piloting, be ready to use your safety systems. Here are some tips on riding in more wind than expected. Like before, avoid sitting the kite near 12, again to avoid lofting and the subsequent stalling deep into the wind window. Another important tip is to ride much slower in strong wind. If you ride slowly, the board sinks more, providing more resistance against the force of the kite. If you speed up, on the other hand, your board will rise higher in the water. You might find your edge force is less than the line tension, then you can't stop yourself speeding up. There are several tips for dealing with gusts in my gusty wind tutorial, such as using your hand or body as an anchor to slow down. I'll place a link to that video below. For experienced kiters, it makes a difference whether the wind has increased and is trending stronger, it's going to keep building, or whether the wind has increased but will drop again because it's cycling weaker and stronger all day. If you know the wind is expected to keep building, and you're feeling the early signs of getting overpowered, then you know it's best to land your kite early. If you know the wind is just cycling up and down, and you know by how much, and you have enough experience to handle it, you may be able to ride out the stronger wind patches. This, for example, is a common wind prediction for my local spot in winter, with light rain across the day, but no fronts or storm clouds. On such a day, I know when it rains to expect around 24 knots for a few minutes, then to expect around 16 knots in between the rain. In that case, I know I'm able to ride out the stronger wind, ready to eject the kite in case I misjudge it. Note, strong winds are not suitable for beginners, even if you happen to have the correct kite size. Build lots of experience in moderate winds and expand your wind range over time. In stronger wind, it's very important to have lots of other kiters around. Then there are more eyes to spot weather changes, more people on hand to land kites in a hurry, etc. Please let me know any questions you have about this in the comments section. Thanks for supporting my channel, and I hope this video helps you avoid getting caught out by too much wind.